Leland Live on your radio as we get on through the afternoon here in Alpine, Wyoming. Hey, Jay, I just had to move some cameras around. It's starting to rain. You see the umbrella in the shot right now just a little bit. We hope I can hold off for another hour. It pops up in the afternoon out here, and they're very grateful for it. Of course, you see how green and lush the landscape is. Let me see if I can get this camera back over to where it was. I had to move that thing under some shelter over there. But you can see those ominous rain clouds out here in Wyoming as we are continuing with our road show broadcast. It looks like that system is moving away from us. So hopefully we can buy another hour as we continue this America's 250 road show out here. See the top of my hat? Bought my, see the hat, this patriotic hat here at the Yankee Doodle Cafe, who were very cool enough to let us hang out with them this afternoon during a busy Monday for them. Y'all, Work Trucks bringing you the show this hour. TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com. Those are our friends downtown that can help you with any kind of business vehicle. I always notice these things going down the road since Work Trucks has been a sponsor, the different configurations that people need to get their job done. I'm always fascinated by the efficiency of business. When you're trying to watch every dime and watch every penny, you got to be efficient with your vehicle too. It's a depreciable asset. You don't want to overpay for it. So you want to get it right. Get it right with Work Trucks. They've got these pre-owned vehicles that they've gone out and selected and vetted. That's a lot of work, just tracking them down and making sure they're all right and tight and good to go. And that's what they do for you at Work Trucks. And they're very, very good at it, not only finding the lowest mile, least used vehicles, but improving anything that needs improvement at Work Trucks. TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com, Work Trucks. LLC.com, downtown Birmingham, whether it's a box truck or a van or cargo van, or maybe you need a passenger van. A lot of good use for those passenger vans nowadays. Work Trucks has got them for you. WorkTrucksLLC.com, downtown Birmingham. Hey, Jay, I may toss to a break in a minute and move the stuff. I need to move about 5 feet, and we're starting to get serious rain right now. So you got something ready to go if I have to do that?
I hear the rain. I hear the rain in the background.
Why don't you toss to a break? Let me get some of this equipment out, and I'll be right back. Y'all hang on.
All right.
Today, AJ. Thank you for covering for me.
I got you.
Thank you to Daniel, too. As we were trying to shove everything indoors, I was just outside the door. There's a lot of equipment associated with us, which you had to pull the cameras down for a second. Daniel comes running out. He goes, Wyoming weather, man, what are you going to do? And then a passerby came out and said, Wyoming weather, man, what are you going to do? And it just changed on a dime, and suddenly there was the bottom fell out. But, hey, that's the chance you take doing these road shows. Y'all hang in here with us. We're going to have some fun this week. Let me make sure I'm caught up because we got a little bit behind there. I'm a little bit out of breath. AJ, I'm getting old, man. I start having to hustle like that. I start losing. I get winded. I'm winded. Distinctive Pools bringing you the show tonight. Speaking of weather, man, it's really good to be able to take a dip in your own pool out in your own yard. Some of y'all have been dreaming about it for years. I remember the first time I met Gary Levac. He said people will sit around and think about this for 3 to 5 years before they actually do anything about it. And boy, that is definitely the case. And so what are you waiting on? The best way to make this decision is to have some information on which to make the decision. And that's what Gary and his team can come do for you. First, they're the best in the business. They're not just pool builders. They're hardscape folks. They can handle doing all the hardscape stuff you would imagine. And they'll come out and draw you out a plan because that's how you get your budget. You got to have a budget. And then from the budget, of course, you can start getting financing. They've got several finance companies that are lined up to help them out as well. It is, of course, our good friends at Distinctive Pools. Gary alone, just Gary at Distinctive, has 40-plus years doing this stuff. It's distinctivepools.com. If you want it built right, y'all go and see them at Distinctive Pools, distinctivepools.com. Man, the wind's kicking up too, AJ. It feels good. But that really disrupted our progress over there. How are things going back in Birmingham right now? Still hot today?
Still hot. We had a couple of rain showers earlier today, especially right when the show started. So it was like a combination of rain and then, with the technical stuff. But right now, looking outside of the parking lot, I see some rain clouds in the distance. The sun is out, though, but it's still hot. It's still hot here.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm missing that weather. I'm just not going to say that because y'all know I'd be lying. But it is starting to warm up out here in some of these locations that have enjoyed these very cool mornings out here in the mountains. They're going to be getting back up in the 90s this week, too. We got these heat domes all over the country. Let's talk about, let's see what else I missed. The Charlie Kirk stuff. I haven't really gotten too far into that today. There was a preliminary hearing today, and it's, these things are slow going. I've covered a lot of trials in my time, especially murder trials. And there is a process by which the prosecutors have got to lay out timelines. They've got to connect things in a certain order, and it can be really tedious. They'll put a witness on the stand and spend 30 minutes just qualifying the witness as an expert to whatever it is they're going to testify to, or as somebody that was on the scene or has knowledge. And it's, to be honest with you, it's pretty boring. Everything's not Perry Mason. And so today, a lot of the networks went to that coverage because, of course, we got cameras in the courtroom, which I think is altogether completely fitting. This guy died on camera on live television. All the scrutiny on his family since this, and all these idiots in Conspiracy Town that have all these theories about a case like this, which do this country or that case no justice. These people are fools being duped into doom scrolling on the internet and believing every stupid thing that keeps getting in their faces. And I have no respect for these kind of folks. Absent of facts, running on filling in gaps. The laziest thing people do is saying, well, I'm just asking questions. I'm very troubled. This makes no sense. I'm just asking questions. That's just a lazy way to try to argue when you don't have facts. And I'm kind of fatigued by these people, especially people in Podcastistan. So what was always going to be the remedy for that was to finally get a trial going and to have it public enough that we can all judge for ourselves, not through highlights and excerpts, but actual facts and evidence, the things that really did or did not happen. And so that's the stage we're at now. They do it in a weird way in Utah where it's almost like a mini trial. And now they've only got to prove, it's similar to a grand jury hearing, they've only got to prove to a certain standard. It's not the trial standard and it's not the guilt phase standard. And so they started doing that today. And because it was so long and drawn out, I, of course, couldn't just spend all my time watching it. But in a few minutes, especially we get a little bit caught up here, I'll try to do my best to find out if there are any highlights or anything that was, I guess, more conclusive. The bottom line is because of the way they're doing it in Utah, in the state of Utah. The public's going to see evidence they haven't seen. They're going to hear from witnesses they haven't heard from. They're going to get a slice of the prosecution's case, probably just enough to feed the beast, but also enough to make people shut up about some of the stupid theories that they are just fabricating out of whole cloth themselves from Conspiracy Town. It's just the age we live in, and it's completely frustrating. But that is going on. I don't know that it spills into tomorrow, but it looked as slow as it was going. It was, one of those things where it could take days. And so far, so good, it seems, with the presentation by the prosecutors today. Again, the defense does not want cameras. They would rather this stuff stay in Conspiracy Town. They need a hung jury or worse in a case like this. But apparently one of the star witnesses, we understand, is his lover, or whatever you want to call him, his relationship person that he communicated with so much. That person apparently has cut a deal, so to speak, or maybe testifying in a way the prosecution needs in a case like this, a direct witness almost. So we'll be watching that this week. It's going to be a busy news week with everything going on. And, of course, tomorrow we probably will be reacting to this soccer game tonight with America versus Belgium. Speaking of America, I think about all American medals. Man, what a patriotic group of guys that is, too. They literally named their country, their company, All American when they founded it back in the 60s. And what they do is put up steel buildings. They get this done, man. They do the steel. And that's very, very important if you're trying to get a project done on your property, whether it's residential or whether it's commercial. I'm telling you, I'm a steel guy. Steel is the way to go. That's the way I have always been able to, well, put it this way. I've got a barn. It's not a big barn. It's big enough for all my stuff, but it is indispensable. I could never even imagine selling the equipment or selling the house and not having anywhere to put my equipment and my dude stuff and my home studio and all the things where I've built life around this facility. And I can tell you the construction goes up quickly. It's very durable. It's very affordable, especially when you do it with All American, because they're going to start by giving you a design that makes sense, and they'll challenge you on your own thinking about that kind of thing. But that's very important if you want to do it right. It is, of course, All American Metals. Let them get you a design, stamped set of plans that helps you with financing and zoning, and then, of course, get that project built for you. They're going to produce the whole building. They have their own factories. They do this. They've got hands on everything. They even bring it in their own trucks. They don't trust third parties to do their work. They do their work, and they do it right. It is All American Metals, aa-metal.com if you want to see some of their projects online. It is aa-metal.com. Back here in just a minute. Yeah, go ahead and hit that break, and then I got a lady walking up. Hi, how you doing? It's a live show. I'm sorry. Can you go through the other door? Sure. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. I'm blocking this one. Sorry about that. Somebody was trying to, AJ, I had to jam into a coffee shop door. I'm blocking the entire coffee shop. It's closed, but she still wanted in here, and she was indignant. I thought I was going to get a Karen moment, but I just didn't have a mic on her. That's right. You played the break while I was doing the move out of the rain.
Yes.
And now it's bright and sunny out there again, so that was kind of pointless. I just didn't want to lose several $1,000s worth of equipment in the rain. So brother needs a tent. That's the lesson from today, no doubt about it. Let me tell you about another one of our sponsors, because we're a little bit behind with the way the show has gone today. And by the way, the phones are open too, 545-9950. If y'all want to get in on this thing, come on, 545-9950. The good folks over at FloorTech, this is a cool company because of the product they produce. They produce concrete flooring, and I wasn't paying attention to concrete flooring until Kevin and his team came on the show. Even though I'd done one of these projects myself in the past, I just kind of assumed all these products were the same. But I did notice the project that I did kind of turned yellow and started to peel, and it was very disappointing. And I was 100% sure I did all the steps right. I know I did the steps right. But what I found out in talking to Kevin was most of the products, in fact, all of the products outside of FloorTech on the market are thinned out with all kind of thinners in the product, which make it inferior. They dilute the good portions of those floor coating products with thinners to make them stretch out and get more coverage. And over time, what that does is it makes it yellow. It makes the color change. You go to a lot of trouble to pick out the right color, and then it turns around and yellows. or in my case, those hot tires coming in and out of the garage, that thing will peel, and you got a mess. You got a total mess on your hands. So go let Kevin and his team at FloorTech, locally owned and operated, they went into the lab. They literally studied the science behind the chemicals and the ingredients, and it was just bad ingredients in a lot of these inferior products. And they came up with a better product. And all they did was simply take the impurities out and create a product that they so believe in that they give a lifetime guarantee. They'll guarantee this product for the life of the home, and it can transfer with the home. In other words, if you're thinking about selling down the road, or you got the house on the market, you can tell your buyers that that floor covering, that coating that you put down in garages, some people do outdoor areas with this product, those things are transferable to the next buyer, and that has value. That has sellable value and guarantees your home in a way that it should be. So y'all reach out to them at FloorTech and let them come tell you what they can do. They even got a demonstration, and I love this. They got a little demonstration as to how their product works and comparing it. It's pretty creative the way they do it with these vials of the product and some of the chemicals and what makes their product better, and it's super impressive. Let them come show off. You can even pick your own color. They have rather than just a few samples of pre-formulated colors, you can use a little fader or slider on their little iPad device and choose your color and level of sort of fleck or paint chips that are in it, the little chips that they put in there, and get it just like you want it. Then they'll reproduce it exactly that way. They're very custom and believe in what they do. This is a superior company. It's called FloorTech, T-E-K. When you try to spell it online, FloorTech. It's FloorTech Coatings. Put that K in there, T-E-K. FloorTechCoatings.com, FloorTechCoatings.com. All right, a couple other things. Let me double back on some stuff we may have missed from earlier in the show or already talked about, but need to kind of give a little more coverage to. Of course, we've talked plenty about the World Cup and all the stuff. That's now down to, 35 minutes, and then it's on like Donkey Kong. We'll find out who wins. The Trump accounts is a pretty impressive thing, and I haven't given that enough coverage. And it's funny to me, the things that we do, and there's an old adage when it comes to news that, the old man bites dog scenario where if a dog bites a man, that's not a news story. If a man bites a dog, now that's a news story. So if it bleeds, it leads. We got this tendency to gravitate around negative things, especially in a time when we distrust our government and all things government, a lot of us anyway. And I'm telling you, this Trump account thing is just brilliance. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Trump supporter. He'll be gone in a couple of years, but these things will outlive that. And he's doing remarkable things that are opposed for the sake of opposing Trump, but he got companies. And it started with Michael Dell at Dell Computers. I think he was the first to step up and say he wanted to do it. Of course, Trump tagged his name on there and called them Trump accounts. He's the president. Presidents do that. But they're putting money into an account for your kid. Now, I think there's some avenues by which you've got to sign your kid up. Every kid that's born after a certain year or before a certain year is eligible. I think there's a phase-in for the older kids. But your kid is invested in markets that can grow over their lifetime. By the time they're 20, they've got real money to buy a home, finance, whatever they're doing, education or whatever it is, or their values later in life. You can add money to it that can grow with some tax incentives. I know Todd Besant was telling the country a while back, go sign up. And I think he was winking because they couldn't disclose some of the other gifts that are coming today because of stock market rules. You can't produce inside information until it's ready to be announced. And so, but today alone, there were several companies that lined up and got involved in it. And now these kids who otherwise would not have had families to teach them this or the resources to put into accounts like this, and now they can do this and they'll own it. And that's wonderful. I mean, that's just wonderful for the kids. It's wonderful generationally. And the things I've learned, and others and people that are smarter than me in business and in other areas of life, football, you can apply it to everything. Sports, success builds success. Success breeds success. And in this case, as the model has become more attractive for charitable contributions, you got more and more companies dedicating their resources to these accounts and just handing your kids money that will sit there and do nothing but become more money if you get them in on it. So I would talk to whoever you got advising you in your life. My man Danny Knowles should be one of those. Of course, he's my lifelong friend, but I don't know anybody smarter or better, and I'm sure they're up on these things. But if your kid's eligible, I'd get them in tomorrow because there's going to be more and more giving to these accounts. I'm not sure how the timelines work, but it's certainly something that these kids can benefit from. And, I have 5 grandkids, and I'm going to be leaning on my sons very, very soon to go ahead and get everything registered so they can take advantage of this. And, by the time my youngest grandson is of age to be able to, I believe, use these accounts. And you contrast that to the ripoff that has become Social Security. Our government is bankrupted. The one thing we're going to have to guard against, and this is my only caution about this whole Trump account narrative, is you've got to watch our government from stealing from this fund. Politicians steal from any pot of money that shows up. They will graft it off to their friends. They will put IOUs in it and use the funds for something else down the road if it's not guarded against. And simply because it's Trump and his name is on it, there'll be Democrats trying to kill the whole thing the minute they return to power. So we've got to watch our politicians from robbing these things like they did Social Security. They turned it into almost a Ponzi scheme. It's going to run out of money. They continually have to keep watering down the program and changing the parameters because they keep robbing the program and devaluing the value of the program by screwing with the dollar. That's another whole conversation. But get your kid in these Trump accounts. It was remarkable today to see them announce that and open that up on Wall Street. And the time to do it's now and not wait around. Again, this stuff could go away. If you're not in, these fools in 2 years, if they get power, will rob your kids of the money because they just believe in theft. That's called Democrat socialism now. The old school word for it is thievery and evil and vampire, those kind of things. All right, I got to go. Bottom of the hour, quick break. Let me get reset with a couple of things here. We'll try to do the last 30 minutes live from Alpine, Wyoming. Y'all stay tuned. All right, y'all, let's keep going here on this Monday, live again. Done with the vacation, on the road, America's 250, trying to travel around the country and show you some things. It's been kind of wild this afternoon. The first hour we fought the sun trying to fire all the equipment. Now we had to move inside because of the rain, but it's clearing up out there. There's one of the beautiful mountains that is just over the Snake River. You can't see the river. It's kind of way down in about a 200-foot sort of carving into this valley over here, but it's a beautiful place. We're just inside the door of the Yankee Doodle Cafe, as you can see them there, wrapping up business and putting the chairs on the tables. They're more of a lunch and dinner place, but they've been very, very hospitable to host us this afternoon over in this beautiful part of the country. Of course, brought to you by our friends at Appalachian Foothills RV and Repair Shop and RV Park. Up there, right off exit 20 on I-22. Especially if you've got a Tiffin product, because this is Tiffin country, where I have a Tiffin, and they're just a marquee brand in the industry. But they, of course, specialize in those. They can fix anything, any kind of ride you've got. I really couldn't have gotten on the road with this trip without their help, and a lot of upgrades and repairs. Just from time to time, when you've got these things are gonna go pop. You got to fix them. So it's all American. It is Appalachian Foothills RV and Service Center. Y'all take your stuff up there. Worth the drive. Not too far from Birmingham. It takes me about an hour and a half to go drop off. And, man, they handle it for me. And they're really making this trip possible by, one, being a sponsor, but two, fixing my things. And, by the way, they're the best paint and body people anywhere around when it comes to motorhomes. They're going to make it look good. Y'all go see them in Northwest Alabama. By the way, Stockton Mortgage, Thomas can't be with us tonight. We usually talk to him about this hour. SaveWithStockton.com. You know, people are loosening up. There's some good news if you're a buyer as far as pricing. Markets tend to equalize themselves. It's just how economies work. And there's some parts of the country you're getting better and better deals. And Alabama, haven't looked at the latest stats on us, but the prices have seemed to stabilize. Everything was going nuts for a while, and prices both seemed beyond reach, and so did the interest rates, which made some of the prices beyond reach. And some of that's starting to get worked out now in this new economy. I saw a statistic today that the immigration wave that the Biden team ran into this country for 4 years, and this was a federal report that was quoted in the New York Post today, raised house prices in this country by 30%. And you want to think to yourself, well, how could that be? These people have no money. They just show up. How could they jack up house prices? It's because your government was paying for their house prices. They were paying for their mortgages. They were giving them subsidies and rental income to jack up the prices. Rent is directly associated with the price equation because, you know, owners and landlords also buy and finance. And when they're getting these maximal rents at full capacity in some of these places, rents go up for everybody else. It's supply and demand. The supply didn't increase because you couldn't afford to build, but you had this influx of millions of people cramming into particularly our cities, and it just screwed up everything. And so some of that's coming back down in order to equalize things. Just what we need is some rate relief, and I think the market's going to be red hot. My bottom line is reach out to Stockton. If you're looking at the markets, even if you want to just cash out some of the wealth that you built in your own home and use it for proper things, it is SaveWithStockton.com. SaveWithStockton.com. Hey, yeah, I looked outside and I was like, why does that tree look purple and red on that camera shot? Then I realized I got the chroma key turned on that thing. That was a camera I was using later. So anything green is going to turn a funny color. I don't know. That's kind of funny to me. It looks like a taste of fall, but that's not real. That is not real. That is fake news right there. I'm going to try to fix the tree in a little bit, maybe during the break. David is in Asheville. Let's get some more phone calls in. I appreciate your calls this afternoon.
Yeah.
As they're trying to kick us out of here, man. I need to get out of here so we can get on down the road. I want to go watch some soccer, believe it or not. David, what's on your mind, man?
Yeah, good evening, sir. I hope you guys are having fun and be safe out there in the wild, crazy West.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
I was calling about everybody's and your kind of admission that Social Security is going to run out of money in a few years. And it very well may be, depending on what road we go down. But I kind of think back to if I'm in financial problems or a company or whatever are in financial problems and we've got creditors, banks, whoever, then they're going to want us to sell off all our assets and take all our property and bank accounts and all that, correct? Before we can do anything else. Would you agree with that?
There's some requirements where they put you up against the wall that way for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about we put the U.S. government against the wall? They got lots of assets, mostly physical property assets. And I know it would suck, and I'd hate to see it, but how about we sell Yellowstone? How about we sell the Grand Tetons? How about we sell some of these properties that are valuable? It would suck for me because I love going out there. It would suck for the future generations that can't see it as a public property, but they can go out and pay a few bucks. I assume somebody would take it and make money off of it, and it would be off our ledger as a cost. It would suck, but you could pay off trillions and trillions of dollars worth of debt by selling government, U.S. federal government property all across the country. There's a lot of government property in Alabama, all across, and Utah, and all across the country that could be sold. It sucks, I agree, but why can't we do something like that and we pay our debtors like me and you and everybody else that's paid into the tax basis and Social Security for how many years now? Yeah. I've been doing it for about 60-something years, and you're coming up on that. What's the problem with that? Other than,
let's talk about that. I understand the spirit by which you make that proposal. I really do. I get the essence of what you're saying. That financially, I guess, could make some sense. Social Security is not just in trouble because of debt. It's in trouble because they raided the program and turned it into the new payers are paying for the old payers' obligation. That's the definition of a Ponzi scheme. They abused it, and it's right.
It's mismanagement. It's mismanagement of money.
But so is the debt. The nexus are politicians who get paid to spend money. I mean, I know of an example even here locally where there's a local congressman claiming credit for something he didn't do. I don't want to get into it, but he just had nothing to do with it. They get credit for spending money. They never get credit for saving money, so they keep spending money. The way they trade on votes is they create these giant bills that nobody knows what's in them. As long as their piece is in there, they'll vote for it. Then they get to go home and brag about their piece of it, and that is breaking us. It is the Richard Shelby model. His protege will behave the same way, and it's irresponsible. Now, as far as the public lands, it's a separate issue. First, if you look at the actual debt, it wouldn't even be a drop in the bucket. If you sold every bit of acreage out here in the West, some of it's not developable. It's just not. It's too rugged. But it would never work. It would not make a dent, and we would lose, as citizens of this country, some of the most beautiful land in the world. It's stunning out here. I'll give you an example of how, and I'm a capitalist, I'm a free market guy, but there's not much free market here when it comes to real estate. Now, I got a background in that business, and I look at values everywhere I go. I'm interested in how those markets work. You can't get a respectable house that you'd want to live in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. One, you can't get a dump for $1 million. The average sort of decent place is in the $6 million range, and that's because of scarcity. There's not much private land out here that can be developed, and that's just how the markets work, because you don't have a lot of places to put homes or communities. So developers have not, one, the land's been blocked out, but two, it's been preserved, and they haven't been come out here and ruin it. The most beautiful things out here are not where the towns are, it's where the towns aren't. And I think that is a heritage that, okay, let me put it this way. As a grandfather, I would hate to see my grandchildren get robbed of these opportunities and this heritage that's left to them since Teddy Roosevelt, to be in these places and get connected with God. It's not easy to do that anywhere in the world, in some places in the world. And I wouldn't want them to lose those opportunities just because the other thing that's been robbed of their lives, that is the national debt and Social Security going bankrupt. It's like, I guess, robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're going to get ripped off one way, and then you're going to rip off another thing from them. And I think we'd rather just pay attention as Americans and fire Congress. I mean, all of them. And we should reward. We should be smart enough to reward cutting budgets and not spending money, but we're stupid the way we vote. And put it this way, and I'm not just trying to knock our own senators, but both of them have gotten elected to the United States Senate. Now, Barry Moore still got to win a general, but he will, and he'll be a good senator. But the dude gets elected with, what was it, 170,000 votes the other day, or maybe a little over 2 in a special election. In a runoff, Katie Brick went in a special. They didn't have that many people really vote for him. But they represent the interest of almost 5 or 6 million people. And the way they stay in office, all of them, the way they stay in office is to spend money. And we keep rewarding that. We believe the negative ads that the rich people pay for them. And then they shield off anybody that would be real competition. So we reward that irresponsibility, and then we bitch about it. But it's our fault. We're electing the wrong people with the wrong values. And they ripped us off. They have robbed us blind, and they'll continue to do it.
I totally agree with that, and I totally agree we need to get a major change in who's representing us. But I don't believe that I should be passing on to my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren a horrendous debt that they'll never pay off, and they will suffer for generations because of our stupidity, our government stupidity. And I'm talking about Social Security being money going into a general fund in the government. They don't care. They're going to spend whatever you give them. Forget what it's earmarked for. So you pay your taxes, you pay Social Security, it goes into just a toilet bowl.
Yeah,
that's
no
where
doubt.
All of our people, all your grandchildren, all the people that will never, ever, ever see the Tetons, which are gorgeous, and Yellowstone, and all the big parks out there that I've been to, which are most of them, and they'll never see them, but they're going to pay for them throughout their lives. So why not sell it to somebody that can make some money, or lease it? How about leasing it? A long-term 100-year lease to where they can develop and make some money.
I can't agree with that. All right, David, got to run, buddy. Got to run. I think we've already hashed through it. I get your point, but I just would wholeheartedly disagree with that. That'd be selling out the country twice after what they've already done to us. Let's go to Clarissa real quick. We'll get another call in here real quick. I'm going to run out. They're trying to throw me out the door, AJ. They already closed the restaurant. Can you see nobody's in there right now? Clarissa, what's up, girl?
Hey, Leland, I'm glad you're having so much fun. We just got back from an 8-day trip where we did Footsteps of the American Revolution, and we went to Boston, New York, Philly, D.C., and we got to see a lot of the FIFA soccer fans, and it just blessed me so much to interact with them during the semi-quincentennial week because they saw what a blessing it was to spend time in America. And I just remember one lady from Ecuador that was, at the elevator at the Sheraton at Times Square with me, and she was just, so infatuated with crumble cookies. And so just to see America and our, excess and all of the blessings that we have and the size of our cities, the cleanliness of our cities, the safety of our cities, thanks to President Trump, through the eyes of these foreigners was really just the cherry on top, getting to go through the footsteps of the American Revolution tour. But, definitely as a travel advisor, I'm not on board with, selling any of our national parks. This is a big seller for us. And, domestic travel is, as you know, during COVID yourself, through your own travels, is only gaining in popularity. So let's not do that. But anyway, stay safe, and thank you for taking us on the road with your travels.
Well, thank you, Clarissa. I appreciate that. Even though it's been a little bit of a technical struggle today, we're still having a whole lot of fun. Thank you for that call, too. EcoView windows and doors, let's talk about this heat and humidity and all that. If you're uncomfortable at night, sometimes it's two things. It can be your heating and air system, or it can be your windows. It can be you're just losing money because your house is inefficient. Your air conditioner can't keep up. It's muggy. You're trying to keep out the heat and the humidity. So let EcoView come and show you what they can do. They guarantee their product. In fact, they've got this 35% guarantee. It says they can save you 35% on those bills. Man, I'm going to tell you, we're about to get hit with some serious power bills after these heat waves. They take 35% of that over 12 months. You can go back and look at all your bills and add that up. Then factor that over a few years of the investment of these new windows. I mean, they could be there for 10, 20 years. especially with the warranties and the guarantees on there, maybe longer than that. I don't even know the lifespan, but all I know is that adds up. And over time, it's a wise investment. It pays for itself and improves the beauty of your home, saves you on your power bill. Makes sense to me. Becky Jackson simply runs the best window and door company anywhere around. They set out to be the best. They did a lot of things in the beginning to shape up their product line and hire the best people, get rid of the people that weren't ready for that, and have people that love their company, that love what they do. They'll take good care of your home. It's ecoviewwindows.com, ecoviewwindows.com. Back here in just a minute from Alpine, Wyoming. Man, it's 5:53 live from Alpine, Wyoming, over here in the western part of this beautiful state. We appreciate y'all being along with us. There are going to be some fits and starts, and we're doing these traveling road shows all solo like this. I want to first thank AJ for being so patient today. He's had to juggle while I was working on mine, and my wife, who bailed me out with an umbrella and some duct tape. She came running up with an umbrella.
She was
and
MacGyver.
She MacGyvered it, and it gave me just enough shade to get the heat off the equipment, and she just clutched like that. Y'all both just bailed me out this afternoon. I appreciate y'all.
Did she say, all right, I got a paper clip, I got an umbrella, I got duct tape?
I was like Monty Hall. I was like, I'll give you $50 for whatever you got in your purse right now. I got to get this damn show back on. But she ran over to his little hardware store across the street and got me an umbrella, which went to hell when the wind blew. It's gone now. It just folded into 95 different positions. It's been a day, but it's been fun. We're going to have a lot of fun the next 3 weeks, and I hope y'all get to hang out with us and watch us online. And a lot of the shows will be different. They'll be very different than this one. But we'll see what we can do. I hope tomorrow to be able to take y'all to the Grand Tetons. I'm still working on a couple of logistic things to be able to do that. But we'll see what happens. We'll make it work. Allen and Company bringing you the show tonight, too. Longtime sponsor here on the show. someday I'm going to sit down and figure out when all of these sponsors joined us, because we must have 10 or 15 that have been with us more than a decade, because it works. I like to think our advertising works, and I know they do for you what I tell you they're going to do, and that works for the audience. They give you good deals and good value, and it's the same. And, you know, the other part of that is these are locally owned businesses. They're not chains. They really care about their customers. They live here with us, and they love it when you walk in the door. They want you to walk out happy. So that's the old-fashioned way, and I love that. That's Allen & Company. You got 2 generations, sometimes 3 generations hanging out in the store, showing you the things. Allen can do all the work. He's a master jeweler, and it's just a perfect place to do gift giving, to make it really personal. When you've got your own personal designer and your own family, the Thompsons, to help you with these things, then it really does feel special, because these things are special. They can be expensive, and when they're gifts, they're always celebrating an occasion or some moment or something in your life. So get it done right with our friends in Vestavia, as many of you have for years and years at Allen & Company. All right, is Dan still there, AJ? Let's get Dan in here real quick from the Traveling America's 250 Roadshow. What's up, Dan?
Hey, not much, Leland. Hey, man, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, man.
I hope you have much fun out there out west.
Yeah, it's been great. I'm ready to work, though. I'm ready to do these shows, and honestly, I'm a little ready to get home, but I love it out here.
Yeah, you got to keep the sun off your equipment. That's a big deal.
Oh, it was shutting down everything, computers. I got a lot of high-tech sensitive stuff, and it just got hot so fast. But we got through it, didn't we, AJ? We did it. Thanks, Dan. Oh, go ahead, Dan. I wasn't cutting you off.
Oh, no, I dropped him. Sorry, Dan, if you still have more stuff to go.
Dan just got cut off.
My bad. That's on me.
Let him back in, AJ, if he calls back.
Yeah.
Dan, we were just miscommunicating there for a second. Let me throw this at you before we go, and I'm going to try to get packed up and go watch a little bit of soccer. I can't believe I'm excited to watch this. I didn't think I'd get into it, but I am. Suddenly I'm into it, like a lot of the country is. Trump just put a statement out about Walmart. Let's listen to this. I'm going to read you a little bit of this verbatim, but he says, I've just been informed that one of America's biggest, best, and smartest retailers in America, Walmart, will be lowering prices by a lot. By my administration's request to celebrate the country's 250th birthday, Walmart in particular will be dropping the price for a pound of ground beef 15%, and in many other products. It's a huge deal for many millions of Americans who smartly shop Walmart. And that's a good move on Walmart's part. I mean, these big companies are still big companies. And he goes on and on about other stuff. You know, people get caught up in the spirit. I was thinking about the corporate contributions made to the savings accounts for the kids today, called Trump accounts now. That's just there's nothing but good in that story. Hopefully there'll be nothing in good of this America USA team winning tonight, just to piss the liberals off, because y'all know they hate the country. If you got a bedwetter in your family, they're pulling for Belgium, and you know it. Ox Foundation Solutions, one more sponsor, then we're going to try to get Dan in here. Let them get under your house. You don't need to crawl under there. It's scary. And you don't know what you're looking at. Most of you don't know what you're looking at. But if you smell the presence of moisture or dampness, if you feel that stickiness in the air, you may have a problem in your crawl space. If you got a shift or a crack or some of that stuff going on your house, man, you better get on that. These floods and this rain and this extreme temperatures are big contributors to that kind of stuff. So keep a good health checkup on your house and let oxstrong.com come and take care of it. Sidewalk leveling, concrete leveling, cracks, shifts, water removal, encapsulation, mold removal. This is a full-service, high-tech company, oxstrong.com, oxstrong.com. We're going to give Dan plenty of time tomorrow. Sorry about that, Dan. We miscommunicated. Now the go-home music's playing. And AJ, I ain't got to go home, but I got to get the hell out of here. They're ready to close.
Yeah, look, they got the chairs up. They got the
look. They have closed up. Everybody's gone. They were trying to get me out the door. They want to go watch soccer.
Yeah, well, you know, it would have been a perfect time for them to do have the soccer game on in there, but they said, "Nah, we got enough feeding y'all. We'll do y'all tomorrow."
Done. They've been working since 4 o'clock this morning. They're gone. See you, man. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, see you back on the road again tomorrow. Stay tuned for Breaking Bread coming up next. Goodbye, AJ.